Live from Studio 40, Get Personal with Pattie.
Cue the video.
I do want your number.
Which number do you want? George?
George. Now I like the way you say that, George. Well, how many numbers you got?
Oh, I got numbers coming out of my ears. For instance, 10.
10.
Yeah. That's how many months old my baby girl is.
You got a little girl?
Yeah. Yeah, sexy, huh? How about this for number 6? That's how old my other daughter is. 8 is the age of my son. 2 is how many times I've been married and divorced. 16 is the number of dollars I have in my bank account. 850-3943. That's my phone number. And with all the numbers I gave you, I'm guessing 0 is the number of times you're going to call it.
Hey, how the hell do you remember your bank balance?
Isn't that great?
Like that? See, that impresses me.
Wonderful. I'm an 80s girl. I love Erin Brockovich. I love the numbers. If you stop and think about it, you have big things in your life that happen all the time. I can't remember what I had for dinner last night. I can't remember why I came into this room, but I can remember my numbers. And this is my show, Get Personal with Pattie. So today's first topic, I welcome everyone. I'm grateful to be here in front of you all and to talk about what my numbers are. A little get to know me. November, it's Thanksgiving. Let's remember it's Thanksgiving in November. I was out with a friend today at lunch. We went to Marshall's and everyone was in there, Christmas shopping already. There was a line deep of 15, 16 people. Let's remember that it's still Thanksgiving and we have to be thankful for being in November. For me, November is a big month. It's Premature Awareness Month. And here are my numbers. 38, the age I got married. 38 to 40, the age range to try to have a baby. 5 IVFs later. Let's talk about IVFs. It's something that women don't talk about. It happens. Infertility is huge in this country. Finally, February 11th, 2011, we found out we were having twins. July 21st, 2011, my water broke while camping in New Hampshire. Yes, in New Hampshire. That means we were transferred to Maine Medical Center. 2 weeks on bed rest. By the way, coloring is very therapeutic. August 3rd, 2011, my micro-preemies. The difference of micro-preemie to a premature baby, micro-preemie is if a baby weighs 1 pound 12 ounces or less and refers to under 26 weeks. Grace and Maxwell were born at 1 pound 12 ounces each. 27 weeks, 4 days. The next 4 days are a blur. Post-traumatic stress disorder. It just doesn't happen it happens in a lot of different scenarios. Let's talk about that. 8/7/11, baby Maxwell passed away. And how many days later did Grace go home? 125 days later, December 5th, 2011. Those are my numbers. A set of numbers that make me who I am today. That's me. So I got some great shows coming up, some great topics. Just in that little intro, IVF, PTSD, who we are as a person. In the next few months, especially for the new year coming up, we're going to talk about budgeting and have some roundtable discussions on how easier. I've just kind of started following the budget mom. I'm not getting any money to represent the budget mom. I call myself the budget mom wife, BMW without the $600 car payment. So we're going to show you how to budget paycheck to paycheck versus living paycheck to paycheck. It's a great new thing that I just started with in October. So we'll see how that goes. If anybody's interested to email me or come on and explain how they do their budgeting, we'll have a roundtable discussion a couple times. And you can really follow my progress through on budgeting. We'll talk about meal planning, exercise and weight loss, and we'll have some special guests. So this is Grace now. She's 8 years old, a far cry from that micro-preemie 1 pound, 12 ounce little girl. She is, this is her when she was born, and this is Maxwell here. And Grace is definitely a mini me with that little button nose. She's 44 pounds, 43 inches tall. She's nonverbal right now. She does speak through an iPad a little bit. She's just starting to learn that. She says mama. She says bye-bye. So she's getting there. She is a G-tube fed child still. She has been from 3 months post-birth. And she walks in a walker, so she has some medical challenges, but she's a spitfire. She is, the love of my life. Of course, she's my daughter, I would say that, but she knows how to handle an iPhone better than I do. She texts every one of my crew members here today multiple times. She FaceTimes people, but she only wants to hear the phone ring. Then she'll hang up if you answer and pinch me because you answered. So, we treat her like she's any other typical 8-year-old. Her disability is nothing that we don't, there's no reason to treat her that she has a disability. She's in the regular school program and she's integrated and she's doing great. I guess one of the reasons why I wanted to have this show is because, I feel like I'm approaching a milestone age. I won't tell you till my birthday comes, but I have a lot to be grateful for, and I'm grateful for Grace, and I'm grateful for the experiences. Unfortunately, even losing a baby, I'm grateful for the experience to have a family where some can't, and to talk about my family, and that's what Get Personal with Pattie is all about. We have to be grateful. It's all in your attitude. So if anybody has any questions or you just want to contact me, you have some ideas about a show, I'd be happy to hear them and bring you on. Here's my email address, GetPersonalPattie@gmail.com. November is Premature Awareness Month. If you're going through a premature birth right now, if you have experienced or have someone going through it. I was in Maine for most of the 125 days with Grace. My husband had to travel back and forth to Massachusetts. He had to work. We lived in Fairhaven. So I think I would say the best advice, if you're going through it or someone, is to really stay in touch with that person, even if they're just in Rhode Island, where give them a journal, give them, just to write down their thoughts, take them out for a cup of coffee, give some gift cards. I graduated from Fairhaven High School in 1987, and actually this just came up on my Facebook feed most recently, was that I believe it was yesterday, November 19th, 2011, we were still in the NICU, and I received something in the mail, which something I really didn't talk about is I stayed at the Ronald McDonald House of Portland, Maine, which was a walking distance to the hospital, so I could be with Grace every day. And 1987 to 2011, quite a number of years, and some classmates reached out to me and gave me money and gift cards. That's something that I will forever remember. I haven't seen these people in how many years, and someone took up a collection. So, it's something like that. It's a memory that I always remember, and, it happened in Maine of all places. I think my daughter should get free school tuition in Maine when she's ready to go. When my water broke, these are the things there are things that you remember about your water breaking and going into labor, and there's things that you want to forget, right? Because I was in New Hampshire, I obviously got transported to Maine Medical via ambulance. I just remember laying in the ambulance and, I had a paramedic. I believe a nurse came. There was another nurse in there, and I had to go to the bathroom so bad. It was a 2-hour drive in the ambulance to Maine Medical. And I just had to go to the bathroom so bad. And they kept saying, you all right? You all right? I said, I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. I have to go to the bathroom. Like, oh, do you feel like you're going to go into labor? I'm like, no, I have to go to the bathroom. I have to go to the bathroom. Because, when your water breaks, they just immediately think that you're going to give birth right then and there. It didn't happen, actually. I was on bed rest for 2 weeks, like I briefly stated. But when we got to the hospital, so now, you know, I'm still in the car, and all I keep saying is I have to go to the bathroom. I go in, this doctor greets me. I couldn't even remember what he looks like. And then he's like, oh, do you feel like you have to push? And I'm like, no, I have to go to the bathroom. Like, that's all I want to do is get off this cot, you know, and go to the bathroom. So we go into the elevator. Do you know that we got stuck in the elevator for more than an hour? We got stuck in the elevator for more than an hour. And I was like, oh, good thing I don't have to push. So, you know, it's something like I do remember that. It was very funny. So then when they got me onto the forefront, and I'll tell you, those paramedics were not happy. They were swearing up a storm. You needed a main medical ID to get in and out of the elevator. And they were not main medical transporters. They were from New Hampshire. So somebody let them in, but when they got to the floor, the maternity floor, they had to wait to somebody else to come to use the elevator to get out. So we were stuck in the elevator for an hour. Oh, that was pretty funny. You know, but it's things like that you think about, and it's, you know, it does make the journey a little, you know, less painful, I guess. I mean, just being on bed rest, I was on bed rest for 2 weeks, and I remember my dad came up that weekend, and he said to me, oh, are you going to live in Maine now? And I said, well, Dad, I have to stay here until the babies are born. And he's like, but that's not till October. They were due October 30th. And he's like, that's not till October. And, well, Dad, sooner or later they're going to come, and I have to stay here until they come. You know, it was August. But the beds were a little uncomfortable, and obviously I was pregnant with twins, and, you know, they wanted to keep everybody, you know, inside as long as you can. And the nurse came by and said, you know, we can give you a new mattress. We can give you a mattress that's really comfortable. It's an air mattress, so they put this air mattress on, and you know, it's air all the way around. It's like a really, really big mattress. It goes all the way around. I'm laying in it. I'm like, you know, sucking into the mattress, and the mattress is way up here. And the doctor comes in, and she's like, you don't look very comfortable. I'm like, no, I'm kind of not. She's like, why are you in there? And I'm like, I don't know, because some lady said that I needed this kind of mattress. She's like, no, that's ridiculous. And so, you know, we switched beds. Like, that was a funny point in this whole story. And then this poor, you know, little old lady on Sunday, just volunteering her time at the Maine Medical Center, comes in one day, the first week I was there, and says, do you want a color? Do you want some coloring books and crayons? And I was like, no, thanks. You know, just kind of gave her a face like, really? And she's like, it's very therapeutic. And I'm like, no, I'm all set, thanks. The next week she comes in and she's like, how you doing today? I see you're still intact. That's great. Babies are doing good. I said, yep. Can I have those books and crayons, please? It was very therapeutic. And isn't that funny? Because nowadays, right, that was 2011, 8 years ago, but nowadays, what do adults do? They color. So yeah, Grace came into the world in a pretty real and somewhat long journey herself, but she's just like me. She's my mini me. She's pretty funny. I touched a little bit about what she can, you know, how she talks and stuff, but when she was a baby, when she was an infant, like more, a year to 2 years, she would always go, make this monkey face. So when you asked her a question, she didn't want to acknowledge your answer. She'd go, well, now she still does it, but people think it's funny. Grace just went to Buttonwood Park Zoo last week with school, and we'll play the clip for you, but she's talking to the monkeys, and she starts laughing, and then the video zooms into these two monkeys on a tree laughing, and actually one points down to where Grace is, and the teacher says, Grace, the monkeys are laughing. And Grace goes, and starts laughing, and then it goes back up to the monkeys, and they start laughing. And the teacher said this engage happened for 2 to 3 minutes. The monkeys would laugh, and then Grace would laugh. So, wow, huh? Grace is the monkey whisperer.
I want to hear them again.
They laugh like that?
The monkeys are laughing. Grace, they're laughing.
Okay, so just a little light housekeeping. Get Personal with Pattie will be on Channel 95 through Fairhaven Community Media. So, but if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, or just send me an email. I think it's important, to note that, our children at any age teaches a lot to us as parents, because as a parent, you want your child to have the best. You want your child to, I want my child to be a typical child, let's be honest, but I don't see Grace as having a disability. I see her as for who she is, and she's a smart, funny little girl. So she's really taught me that she has CP, which is cerebral palsy. I didn't say that before. And it took me a long time to even say those words out loud, because, you'd go to a doctor, they say, well, if she wasn't going to talk, she wouldn't start to make noises already. Or, oh, I think she'll walk, but she's 8. And it's taken her a longer time to get to that stage. So I would never say she had cerebral palsy. I don't know, because, moms have guilt. And should I have been camping? I checked with my doctor. He told me I could go camping. I had the doctor's okay to go camping. So, maybe it was too hot and I wasn't drinking enough water. There's a lot of guilt that goes around mothers, women as a whole, for a lot of different reasons. I think we hold a lot of stuff in, and it's hard to just say, my daughter has cerebral palsy. But you know what? She taught me that, and I think I teach her every day, that she is just like a regular kid. She is like a typical kid to me. And you know what? If I can get her story out, and her story about prematurity and just cerebral palsy and how far she's come, that means more to me than anything. And, to meet her is to love her. She's very adaptable. And I did say recently to my husband, don't look at it as what you want Grace to be, which every parent should think about this. You want your child to grow up and be somebody or be more than you were. That's, my father always said he wanted his kids to be more than what he was. So I want Grace to be more for her and for me. But at the same token, I love her for who she is. And that's okay. That's okay. Because to me, she is a typical kid. She's 44 pounds, just because she eats through a tube, or she doesn't talk, or, she's learning how to potty train now at 8 versus 2. Well, some kids, it just takes a little bit more time. So love your kids for who they are, not what you want them to be. It's very important. That's what I'm learning. It's very important. I've said this before, but it's all in your attitude. Stay positive. My cup is not half full. It's not half empty. It's runneth over. I have a lot to be grateful for. I'm me. This is my real show, and I'm here to talk to you about real topics. Join me next month for Budgeting 101. You're going to love it.